Yeah, turn those mics up a little bit there, Scott. Yeah, so thankfully we're live again from the NAILD convention. Go to NAILD.org, and we're here discussing the issues in the industry, and I'm glad to be joined by Christian Rodell from DMF Lighting. Go to dmflighting.com. That's dmflighting.com. How are you?
Perfect. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, well, thank you for being at the show.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about DMF.
So DMF's been around 30 plus years, based in the Los Angeles area. It's an interesting story, near and dear to my heart. It's a family that emigrated from Iran during when the Shah was overthrown. The main founder, his name is the M in the DMF, which is Mark, and he married a woman named Faye, and he was an electrical engineer. And what he found when he came over to the States was he had to do a lot of odd work, a lot of retrofit, a lot of stuff, what I was hearing from a lot of the memberships here.
Sure.
And he did a lot of contracting work. So he kept tooling with housings and how cumbersome it was to install them and a variety of applications. And he decided to go out and create his own company. So the D stands for Dinesh. That's their last name. Mark is his name, and then Faye is his wife. So a lot of people ask that's one of the more common questions we get. What does the DMF stand for? So over the last
Sounds
10
like it stands for family.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Is that Mark? Is that Mike on, Greg?
It is, yep.
It is, yeah. So, you brought this, and you were showing that to me at the table, and that's a product, right? We all have products, but what makes DMF different? That's not about products. What do you think?
Great question. Where we've differentiated ourselves over the last 10 years specifically is we've become what we call a very modular solution, right? And what that means is we want to minimize SKUs. So at the early stage of a project, when it's getting specified or designed, we want one housing family to use for just about 90+% of the downlighting applications out there, right? So if it's a typical wood joist, if it's going between a drop down commercial T-grid ceiling, whatever it may be, one housing to accommodate that, right? And then we want to make it even easier and offer two varieties of module, right? So one that's fixed for your general ambient downlight, and then one that's adjustable. So if I need to go out there and I need to highlight a sculpture or some artwork, I have that kind of capability, again, minimizing SKUs and making it easier to specify. The other part, from an installation standpoint, we want to integrate, so everything we have a driver integral to every one of our LED sources, right? So why is that important? Well, as LEDs made its way across the industry, typically when an LED fixture fails, it's the driver that fails the fixture, right? So then the contractor's got to go back out to the site. They've got to figure out a way to get up into the aperture, get to the splice box area, pull the driver out, and then it's paperwork for a lot of the members that you have here in your organization, right? So they've got to do an RMA.
If they can find the driver to replace it.
That's exactly right.
Never mind that.
Great point.
Ripping the whole damn fixture out now.
Great point. So with us, the driver is integral to our LED source. So it's just a quick disconnect and off you go. And then a variety of trims. So if you've got a wall wash, if you've got a pinhole, if you've got a standard beveled LED, or you want something a little more snazzy like a hyperbolic trim, it's a very easy to change out. And that's what we're known for. And that's really what's put us on the map over the last 10 years.
You said you have a fixed and adjustable, and I assume you have different lumen packages and colors?
We do, yeah, different lumen packages. And the thing is we do have a good, better, best scenario, and I've got a new product that I'll get into here in a sec. But what makes this really unique is we want to offer a solution that will, by no means are we going to be the low-cost leader, but by no means are we going to be the industry-leading cost indicator either. So we're going to be in that sweet spot in the middle. So anything we offer, it's going to have the highest quality of chips. It's going to be CRI of 90 plus in every one of the products that we offer, and then the ability to make easy changes in the field below the ceiling plane.
It's interesting when you talk about. I asked you what was different about DMF, and I asked you, like, please don't say a product, and then you just talked about products the whole time. I mean, that's good because But what I would say is like you've been in business for 30 years. You're starting to move in. You're a new vendor member to NAILD. You're starting to move into the space. You're trying to support distribution, but you're right. You can't be out to lunch on pricing. Like there's a $6 panel out there with 4-inch pot light,
Sure.
like whatever. They're there. There's a lot of sales in that
Mhm.
realm, but nobody's making any money on a 3-inch
Mhm.
round flat panel. You know what I mean? Whatever it is,
Yep.
2x2 flat panel. That's why we're talking about the connected. That's why they're looking for a reason for the connected lighting. You know what I'm saying? And so it's nice to hear from DMF Lighting. I think you go to dmflighting.com, Greg, to find out more about that company.
That's right. Any final notes you want to tell us about any product?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have launched a distribution-focused product called H Series, highly engaged for the single-family, multifamily, multi-dwelling, hospitality application space. I highly encourage you to go on the website, learn more about it, or get with your local representatives in said market and learn more about the product.
Are you looking for distributors like to add to to support you
We
guys?
we are. That was our fundamental DNA for over 20 years. And then when we went to more of that spec grade product 10 years ago, we wanted to come back and bring a product that we felt would sit well in this application, in this space, in the distribution hub. So again, H series at dmflighting.com. Click on the very top where it says H, and that'll take you to the product page.
Cool. And so before we say goodbye, we're going to bring in a very special friend, longtime friend of the show. Thank you, Christian, for being on the show. And we want you to hand that headset off to Mr. Randy Reed of the
All right.
Edison Report.
Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate it.
problem.
Yeah.
And this is also brought to you by DMF Lighting. So you get a double shot here, Christian. Randy, thank you for joining us. It's nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to see you, and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Good
Greg,
to see you, Randy.
how are you, man?
Good. And I'm going to hold your mic
It's
too.
so good to be in person, isn't
Oh,
it? Come
you
on,
know.
man. Randy, where the hell are we with this industry? It's been 2.5 years, and
Yeah.
and now we're starting to get back together. Now we're starting to. How important is it for us to be together as an industry? It's so important.
It's very important, and that's why I'm so happy to be here at the ArcLight Summit. I was here last year when it began, and it was a good show to start last year, but it was still in the pandemic.
Mm.
So very excited to be here. I think I saw where 85 exhibitors have signed up, and they're all building and getting their booths ready. So it looks good, and I've seen a lot of people already just walking around that I didn't see last year. So I think it's going to be a good show, and it's very important to get back out in public and see people.
You're doing a worldwide tour, it sounds like, hitting every.
Well, we are. We're doing this one. We're headed to, I've got to think, IALD. Immediately after that, we go to Light and Building in Frankfurt and NALMCO, going to their convention. And we got one more, if I
Yeah.
may. We're going to Light 22 in London, which is 22 November, hosting a worldwide global lighting party in London on 21 November.
You said
Come
a party
on,
in London?
party.
A party in London. Global
We're going-
party.
November 21st?
November 21st.
Put it in my calendar now.
Do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
A
Baby.
global lighting party
Global
in
Lighting is
London.
hosted by you.
Myself and another individual.
Is that right?
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
Randy Reed's paying first class tickets to London, and then after that, he's going to take everyone to Adolf Wagner's in Frankfurt. What a nice
Okay,
restaurant that is.
oh, that's
Ooh.
my favorite. But no, I fly a military. I'm retired Army Reserve, so
Is
I'll
that
be
right?
space available on a C-130.
Is that right?
Sometimes, but not on this trip. This one's too
Uh,
important.
Too important. You know, Randy, in the news, lighting news now.
Sure.
Are we going to see an increase in mergers, acquisitions? Are we going to see some consolidation in the industry? What's happening in the
Well,
boardroom?
you say mergers and
What's
acquisitions.
happening in the boardroom?
We're going to see failures.
failures. You think so?
We're going to see failures. We're already seeing failures.
Mm.
I'm trying to help a friend of mine. You know, I've got a company, Lumefficient, and our freight company that we use is in possession of $750,000 of material that they got from a bankrupt company who didn't pay them. So I'm trying to help them liquidate that, so to speak. You know, Edison Price, what happened last year? They still had trouble. They still have troubles, and we don't quite know what direction they're going right now. Elite owns them, and we published a story last week about some of their troubles that they've had since that has happened. And we're working on another story of a company that we think, a small company that is just about out of business. We hate that.
Yeah, sure.
But I do think, yes, we're going to see mergers. We're going to see acquisitions. There could be a huge acquisition in the architectural lighting arena coming up before the end of the year, or at least an
There's a
announcement.
little birdie on your shoulder.
At least an announcement. We're working on that now, And I don't know if it's true, but we're
Sure.
hearing some things.
Wow, you know what really what really kind of gives me the kind of heebie-jeebies when I look at it is all the people that are going to go like you're talking Chapter 11 bankruptcy, like full blown, right? What happens with the lighting control systems and
Sure.
warranties and all that kind of stuff? Like you're talking about lighting control system companies, I know that, or
Um,
have made something like that they've deployed in the market, and who's going to support that stuff?
we had an article by a lighting designer. We had an article by a lighting designer last week that we sent out in our newsletter, the spec, and he was talking about the control companies, specifically one, and I'm not going to get into it now, but the way that they do business and the way that they're trying to lock at least residential lighting designers into their control system. And a lot of the residential lighting designers are resisting. And I think there's going to be a meeting at the IALD with some of these residential lighting designers and some of the control companies to talk about business best practices. And if I do put in your controls, are you going to make me buy your light fixtures?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how do we like the other thing too is like, I mean, this room alone has one type of light fixture, but
Sure.
there's also ones on the window there actually. And then there's these. I think these ones are a light fixture here. And when are those all the same company? Hardly ever, man. And
Right, right,
and like you're telling me the lighting control system is not going to speak
right.
to each other. Someone's got to get an open protocol
Yeah.
done. Just be
And,
done with it.
there are 3 windows with 3 window shades. So automatic shades should also
Yeah,
come into the equation.
yeah. HVAC as well. Can lighting lead this, Greg? I don't know, man. Can it lead? Can we lead it, or are we just going to get washed away by the HVAC guys? They're going to kill us.
It's hard to know. I mean, yeah, that's the big question is can we? We have the opportunity to attempt to. And then I guess it's time to find out, right?
Randy,
I don't know, but we need to. Absolutely.
we need to
This is
try.
our game. Oh, and we are trying. The industry is trying, absolutely. But this is the field we play in. This is our field. This is not the HVAC field. So we do need to do it. And there are a lot of organizations that are helping to get controls up and running. They're still not, there are not nearly as many controls installed as there should be.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's really mean. Ready?
I'm ready.
It's the bottom of the seventh, and we've struck out every time. Okay, like the game's almost over, Randy. You know what I mean? If we don't get our SHIT together, we're going to get our lunches
Okay.
eaten on this by the
Yeah.
HVAC guys. They're already in the building. They
Right.
actually have control systems
Right.
that do things that are valuable to people right now. Whereas the lighting is like, oh, what are we going to do? Oh, we can turn them off on your Bluetooth on your phone. Like nobody
Oh.
even knows what's going on.
We do have some controls that I do think add significant value, but I absolutely agree with you. We're at the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
You know, it's like we're going to strike out, man, again with this. I call it the lighting controls boom bust cycle. Every 10 years, like lighting controls are going to take over everything. And it's like, lighting controls, 2010, we're going to connect them to the internet. You remember they were going to put all those Cat 5 cables all through buildings, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't think so, bro. That's not going to happen. And now it's like Bluetooth, hooray, it's going to be on your phone. And then people are like, I don't really want another alert on my phone. You know what I mean? From my lighting system.
Yeah.
But they're talking about lights are on all day in Texas. I never see lights on in Toronto. Do you?
I don't get to Toronto very much.
I don't know. Maybe
We're
there is
sure
a lot of
following
wasted
Europe,
energy.
and they're dimming the Eiffel Tower now, or excuse me, they're doing it. They're turning it off an hour early, and we're seeing a lot of lights out in Europe.
Yeah, but
They're suffering much worse than we are.
That's not because of lighting controls. Like,
Correct.
that's because they can't afford to pay their electricity bill as the city of Paris.
They don't have the energy because of what Russia and Ukraine are doing right now.
I think a better way to put it is because of the sanctions.
Yep.
Europe decided to destroy it. Sometimes I don't want to get too into it, but sometimes you shoot yourself in the foot, and then sometimes you shoot yourself in the head, right? And I think Europe shot itself in the head on this whole thing.
I have a different opinion, but not for this.
Oh, okay.
Not for this.
I mean, so
I support
it's
what
nice.
Europe is doing.
I don't think war is cool ever. How's that? And I think they tried to make war cool again, and that's what I don't like. I prefer peace at almost all costs, to be honest with you. I almost think it's never worth it. But
So the show.
yes, back to NAILD.
Yeah. This is
Good-
going to
good
be
segue.
This is going to be a great show, and I am very excited to be here.
Me too. And, we go to edisonreport.com, right?
Sure, and designinglighting.com. Today in Lighting, which is also on the Edison Report. It's the number one. Do you know we are the number one daily podcast for lighting in the world? Now, we're the only daily lighting podcast in the world. So by default, we're number
there's
one.
one called Get a Grip on Lighting. That's pretty
They're
good.
not doing every day, though, right?
No.
Not daily.
No.
Daily is the
Once
key.
a week is enough. But you know what? I really would appreciate if Randy would do a Today in Lighting from the NAILD show. Are you going to do it from here?
I'm doing it from the ArcLight Summit, but I could do it from NAILD.
Yeah, today do NAILD if you don't mind.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
but we need some graphics or something. I noticed you're in a white background. We always look for a good background.
Tom Butters, I know.
So
there he is. You got a graphic or something we can do for anybody? Yeah.
We will do it. We'll do tomorrow's from NAILD.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for being on.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Go to edisonreport.com for all the latest news, about that. And of course, DMF Lighting, dmflighting.com. Thank you for listening, folks.